Hello, Master Numerologist Andre Alvin Moore here, and today's subject matter is about the relevancy of the number 3. Why is the number 3 important? Well, I'm going to share with you guys some examples of groups of threes before I start my analysis so that you might be able to discern some of the relevancy of the number 3. Okay, so there are many examples in which the number 3 is relevant. For example, we have birth, life, and death. Mother, father, child. You have the physical, the astral, and the casual. Morning, noon, and night. Love, peace, and war. Adam, Eve, and the serpent. Sleep, awake, dream. Hot, cold, warm. Silence, sound, noise. Forward, backwards, stillness. Eyes, nose, mouth. Head, stomach, feet. Wet, dry, moist. Win, lose, draw. Heaven, earth, hell. Jesus and the two thieves. Peter denies Jesus 3 times. Jesus rose from the dead on the 3rd day. And finally, past, present, future. Now, I know you guys probably have a lot more, but those are my examples. So, now, if you are aware, then I will presume that you will acknowledge that you are present. Let me say that again. If you are aware, if you have consciousness, then I will presume that you will acknowledge that you are present. Now, if you are present, then I will assume that you will move into the future. And so I must also draw the conclusion that you have a remembrance of a past. Now, in some religious doctrines, they teach that you are present, and if you had lived a godly life, then you would go to a place they call heaven for eternity. Or if you was bad, then you would go to a place they refer to as hell for eternity. Now, is it fair to ask, where were you before you became present? If you are here now and you are promised that you will go somewhere, then it stands to reason that you must have arrived. If you did not arrive, then you aren't present. And if you are not present, then you cannot go somewhere. Without an arrival, then there is no Trinity. A soul must be somewhere before it arrives and be placed inside of a woman's womb. It must be birthed into physical awareness in order to have physical experiences. And when it leaves this plane, it must arrive somewhere. So the question remains, where is the soul before it arrives? The science of life teach that the soul is encased in three bodies. The soul has a physical body, an astral body, and a causal one. And there are three planes of consciousness in which the soul can travel to. Okay, you have three bodies, so you can travel to the physical, you can travel to the astral, and you can travel to the causal. And each of those planes of consciousness are different. Okay? So, you can have three distinctive types of experiences while encased. Most of us are only aware of our physical existence. But that's not to say that you're not experiencing your other two existence in the astral and the causal. Just because you're not aware of it does not mean that it's not so. So, the soul may visit these different realms of consciousness and awareness, but cannot remain there unless it has freed itself from one or more of its encased bodies. So, for an example, when you go to sleep at night, the soul separates from the body and is free to journey. A lot of times the soul journey back to the astral plane, but must return back to earth after the body has been rejuvenated. Now, if the soul has done physical labor, physical work, then it can earn the right when it leaves the physical plane to stay in the astral world. That's if it was able to break free of the physical encasement. And that is one of the primary reasons why you are here, to learn how to break free of the physical encasement that brings you back into another physical body again and again. And I spoke about the thing that ties the soul to the physical plane is desires. As long as you have desires, then you must return to fulfill those desires, because thy will shall be done. Okay? Now, before a soul is encased in its physical body, it is enjoying the astral plane. The soul remembers this joyful place on its return visit to earth or the physical plane, and referred to this place as heaven. So, the soul is somewhere before it comes here, and that place is the astral plane, but it refers to it as the heaven, because the astral plane is much more enjoyable to the physical plane. Okay? And when a soul incarnates into the physical body, God, or the cosmos, or whatever you want to call it, wipes the mind clear of previous incarnations. But every once in a while, the soul will have a soul memory, but it's like fragmented. He don't remember it distinctively, and he does not remember it with clarity. But the things that he does remember, he realizes that it is a joyful place, a place that he enjoyed, and a place where he longed to spend eternity. So he's getting bits and pieces, but it's a fragmented picture. And so he says, well, when I leave this plane, I want to go to heaven. Not understanding that that is the plane you was on before you came here. You was having a soul memory. Okay, now, if a soul has done mischievous acts and deeds while he was inhabiting the earth plane. So if a soul had been mischievous while occupying a physical body, then when that soul leaves its body, it goes to the astral plane, but it goes to the lower regions. Okay? The lower regions. So the astral plane has the highest regions where most of us go and enjoy our rest from the physical. But those souls that has been mischievous ends up in the lower realms. And they remember that plane and they refer to it as hell. That's their memories. Okay? And that's why they call it hell. Because it was hellish for them. Now, the fact that you are given permission to return is the fact that you are given released from hell should bring you comfort that it is not a place where you go for all of eternity. But however you are, wherever your consciousness is at when you leave, you're going to end up in the corresponding environment when you arrive. That's just how it works. Okay, so there are the lower planes, and these souls remember it as hell, and then there are higher planes, and these souls remember it as heaven, but they don't have a complete recall of those experiences, and it's confusing, and so they start spinning the narrative about their experiences while they was in heaven, and they long to go back, and then those that have the experiences in the lower regions don't really want to go back, but they still can recall the types of experiences they endure. So this is why the Great One says that a saint was once a sinner, and a sinner is a future saint. Now, it might take a soul 1,000,000 years to break free from its physical encasement. Now think about that. 1,000,000 years to develop and to grow and to get the proper understanding and teachings to break free from the physical encasement. If a soul resides in a body 100 years, that's over 100,000 lives. And I know that it's hard for most people to accept that they've had those many lives. But if you're not doing the work while you're in your physical incarnation to break free, if you continue to have these desires, then you're going to have to come back and fulfill those desires. That's why I've said that it is best to only have one desire, and that one desire is to be free of the physical encasement. That one desire is to know God. So, that is why a Great One says that a saint was once a sinner, and a sinner is a future saint. It might take a soul 1,000,000 years to break free from its physical encasement, and until it does, it stays on the cycle of birth, life, death, and rebirth until it gains the experiences through trial and error and learn to live and act from a higher awareness where it can cast off the physical garment and go out no more. When a soul is encased in its physical encasement, its memory is wiped clean for the most part, but may have flashes of its past earth lives and its experiences on the astral plane. It tries to put the pieces together, but these pieces get twisted and mixed with truths, half-truths, and falsehoods, and the soul seek help and guidance. God hear these pleas and send forth enlightened beings to aid these souls and teach them how to live accordingly so that they may break the chains that bind them. After countless rounds on the wheel, a soul breaks free and comes to a self-realization that the father, mother, child are one. That is the relevancy of the number 3. You are part of the Trinity. There's the Father, there's the Mother, and then there's you. And so you are divine, but you must come into a realization of the divinity. You must work through the physical to remove the veils of darkness, to remove the veils of ignorance that you have placed over your eyes, that you have forgotten that you are part of the Supreme. Okay, you guys, that's my take on the relevancy of the number 3. I would like to hear what you have to say about the subject matter, so please post your comments down below, and I'll hit you back at my earliest convenience. Peace.